This is the Phillies Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Philadelphia Phillies. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome into the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is Locked On Phillies Postcast and the Locked On Sports Phillies YouTube channel. Connor Thomas has you covered. For your Locked On Phillies Daily Podcast, I got you covered for your Locked On Phillies Postcast. Thanks for all the well wishes for my cousin's wedding yesterday. We didn't do the Phillies game postcast yesterday because of my cousin getting married. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. Unlike the Phillies late in the game yesterday, game 2 of this series, the wedding itself was beautiful. And unlike the Phillies late in this game today, the wedding was beautiful. Other than that, the Phillies were pretty terrible the way they played in the later innings against the Miami Marlins in their final 2 games of this series. The Phillies do win the series. I'm happy they win the series. They got a bigger test coming up here in the New York Mets, going up to Flushing, New York tomorrow, starting a 3-game series. But you had the opportunity to break out the brooms, and instead, pun intended, you laid an egg in the final game of this series. And look, you were able to salvage the win despite Jordan Romano's struggles in the 9th inning of yesterday's game, game 2. But today, the Miami Marlins were literally saying, here, you take the win. You take this game. Please sweep us on out of South Philadelphia. And the Phillies said, no, by all means. On this holiday, let's be gracious hosts, and you guys win this one. It was terrible. 3 big things right out of the gate. Number 1, let's start with the positive. Jesus Luzardo, great start. 7 innings, 1 run. This earned run, 2 runs total, 1 earned run. But this leads to the negative here. So Jesus Luzardo goes through those 7 innings. Bryce Harper misplays a ball. Bryson Stott commits an error at second base. That would have been the final out of the inning. Lets a run score. It's a 4-2 game all of a sudden. The Phillies show up defensively for Jesus Luzardo in the 7th inning, and Jesus Luzardo goes on to pitch the 8th inning of this game, and you don't see Orion Kerkering come in here to ruin everybody's Easter and give up that 3-run home run. That's what drove me crazy, is that Jesus Luzardo was dominant throughout the game today. I mean, he allowed 8 hits. They scattered him, and whenever he had to pitch himself out of a jam, he did that. But the Phillies give extra outs in that 7th inning with Jesus Luzardo in that game. So after Jesus Luzardo pitched well, they don't do him any favors in that 7th. And that leads Rob Thomson to pull Jesus Luzardo at 88 pitches. Now, here's the deal. Your bullpen is already taxed. You just had your starting pitcher in the previous game only go 4 innings in Taijuan Walker. If I'm Rob Thomson, any excuse to have my starting pitcher go maybe 1 more inning, I'm going to go with that excuse. And my excuse in this game is that he's only at 88 pitches, and I'm going to have him go out there, and I'm going to have him throw for 1 more inning. And instead, even at 88 pitches, now again, the misplay and the error, I mean, really, to me, they're both errors, but one's technically a misplay, the other's an actual error. Misplay on Harper, error on Stott. If you don't commit those mistakes, we'll just call them that for a flat-out statement, if you don't make those mistakes, there's no question in my mind Jesus Luzardo comes in and pitches the 8th inning instead of Orion Kerkering. Now, Rob Thomson still, at 88 pitches, decided he's going to go to the pen. So he goes to the pen, and he brings in Orion Kerkering. So defensively, you're already choked in that 7th inning. 8th inning, Orion Kerkering comes in and just lets Sanoja do his thing, getting started on a 3-run home run to give him, at that point, I believe it was 4 RBIs in the game for the 22-year-old. Sanoja means goodbye. 3-run home run off Orion Kerkering, and that was it. He gives up the single to Norbert. He started off, gives up the single to Lopez to right field. He got first and second, nobody out. Myers is able to foul out. He gets him to foul out to Bryce Harper at first. He get your first out of the inning. He gets Stowers to strike out on a fastball, just blew it by him. Not fooling anyone, just blew it by him. Overpowered him. So now you got 2 outs. You're thinking, oh, look, maybe he'll just get out of this. Maybe that's the way it'll go. Nope. Sanoja steps up there, and he gets the 3-run home run. It makes it a 5-4 game. Hanging sweeper that was just banging to be smashed, and that's exactly what happened. Then he walks Mervis, and then he gets Hicks to line out to left field. Phillies came on at that bottom of the inning, though. They were able to tie things up. And this was, again, another opportunity where the Marlins were saying, no, you take this game. Lopez at second base on 2 occasions, boots a baseball, bobbles a baseball, gives the Phillies plenty of opportunity, especially when you talk about Alec Boehm grounding into what could have been an inning-ending double play. And instead, he boots that one and makes it a 5-5 game later with the run scoring on Stevenson, being able to beat out the throw from Lopez at second, who, again, bobbled another one. Gets credit for the infield single. How about that? And the run scores on that. 5-5. You go into the ninth. You go into the 10th inning, excuse me. Actually, to go back to that 9th inning there, Stott flew out to left to start out that inning. Turner gets the 1-out walk. Harper gets an infield single. Another bobble by Norby. This one, another bobble, I should say, by the defense there, defensive defense of the Marlins. Still a 5-5 game. You have first and second with 1 out. Schwarber goes down. Castellanos goes down. There was opportunities there, and the Phillies just could not capitalize. Again, the Marlins saying, no, you take this game, and the Phillies saying, no, thank you. Strom comes on in relief in the 10th inning, and he didn't have any of his magic working for him again, and that was that. The Phillies had no magic working for them. Also talking about the bottom of the 10th inning. A very frustrating loss considering how winnable it was. And let's also not forget the fact that the Phillies going into that bottom of the 7th inning, or should be top of the 8th inning, it was a 4-1 game in the 7th. Then it was a 4-2 game. And then Sanoja comes up with a 3-run home run to make it a 1-run game in favor of the Marlins at 5-4. The most frustrating thing about this game, again, the winnable factor of it, and why did Tinker Topper choose to tinker when he tinkered in that 8th inning? Am I alone on this? Would I be the only one that would leave Luzardo out there? And I'm not saying it in hindsight. I'm saying at the time, okay? Maybe my dad is sitting in my living room right now for Easter. He was watching the game. I said to him, right? I said at that moment, I said, hey, I don't like the fact that he's taking out Luzardo at this point. A couple of batters later, all of a sudden, just like that, it's a 3-run home run. So not hindsight. I didn't like it in the moment. I thought you at least start Jesus Luzardo out there, who, by the way, you could say, oh, well, what about that 7th inning? The 7th inning wasn't at all his fault. Harper gets the ball right at him that he could turn 2 on, and all of a sudden you're out of that inning. Bryson Stott is able to field a ball. You're out of that inning. And unfortunately, he kept it going. And I look at the way he was pitching really throughout the night. He had 2 9-pitch innings. He had 1 10-pitch inning, an 11-pitch inning. Like, to me, I just let him keep going out there. 88 pitches after 7 innings. Yeah, guess what? See you in the 9th. Or excuse me, see you in the 8th. And Rob Thomson opted to not do that. Also, as I mentioned, the frustration from Bryce Harper. Now, Bryce Harper's been red hot. 2-run home runs galore, 2-run single in the 1st inning to get things going for the Phillies there. We stepped up to the plate, 2nd and 3rd, nobody out situation. Got the 2-run double to center field. Castellanos added another one. You're feeling pretty good. It's 3-0. Luzardo gives up a sac fly RBI in the top of the 2nd inning. And really, the Phillies offense added again on a wild pitch. Or actually, that got overturned. So then Rafael Marchand had the RBI single. Made it a 4-1 game in the 4th inning. You're feeling pretty good with the way Luzardo's pitching. And then you blow it. I look at, number one, I look at Rob Thomson. Why he didn't just put his pitcher out there again for one more inning. At least let him start it. Maybe he has another quick inning. Maybe you're talking about 101, 102, 103 pitches. That's still good. And then you don't have to worry about bringing in your bullpen guys till later. Then that way you have Alvarado and Strom, who I would like to see in a situation where you don't automatically have a runner in scoring position like you did in the 10th inning. Then maybe you're talking about a situation here where you get your guys, a little bit more rest after a day where everybody was depleted from the bullpen being used yesterday. So to me, it just didn't make sense for Rob Thomson to tinker at the moment that he tinkered. So let me know how you guys are feeling about it in the chat. Of course, I look at the bullpen struggles in this game. I look at the defensive struggles in this game, specifically Harper and Stott, obviously. And then I also look at Matt Strom in the 10th, and I look at Orion Kirkry. Jose Alvarado actually had it working for himself in this one. So you'll love to see that for him. When we come back, I'll take your comments on it. We'll walk through the player of the game. I hate doing it, but we got to go to the other side of the aisle for this one when it comes to who the player of the game is, and obviously the turning point as well. That's when we return. This is Locked On Phillies postcast and the Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. Back after this. Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and go, hey, where did the money go? I had some money in there. No, it's gone. Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, me right now with cough drops, oh man, money just goes away. Monarch Money comes in handy, though, with all this. It's your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. Oh, no. It's a complete financial command center. That's how you have to think of it. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place so you stop managing your money. Stop managing your money and start building wealth with Monarch Money. Here's what you can do. When I started using Monarch Money, I noticed how much I am spending on food deliveries. Couple of bucks in that category. Managing your money with your partner is also smoother than ever with Monarch Money. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Monarchmoney.com with promo code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year at monarchmoney.com. Before we get into the chat check and I see what you guys have to say about this one, let's get to it.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I mean, when you look at what Sanoa was able to do today, you're talking about a 5 RBI game. You talk about the 3-run home run. And I'll also get to it. That's also what I'll call the
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
It's also the turning point. 3-run home run. I mean, you got a little bit of faith that maybe Orion Kerkering is not going to give up a 3-run bomb, but unfortunately, that's exactly what he did, and the man he did it to, gave it up to, was Javier Sanoja. And 5 RBI game. Hard to not go with him as the player of the game. As far as what you'll be kicking around tomorrow,
this is what you'll be talking about.
You're going to be talking about how the Phillies blew this one. A 4-1 lead in the 7th inning. They lose in 10 innings, 7-5. The bullpen gets demolished. The offense can't get anything going for them really late after the 4th inning. And you'll also be talking about how Rob Thomson tinkered a little bit too early. That's what I think you'll be kicking around tomorrow. Let's get into it here on this Easter Sunday, which you guys are talking about. First off, happy Easter to those that celebrate, and happy birthday to the fanatic. How about that? Ken, what's going on? It's an Easter miracle that Bohm didn't do his daily ground and a double play in the 8th inning. It is an Easter miracle, and it was another opportunity where the Marlins were saying, no, you, please win this game. And the Phillies like, no, that's totally fine. Can we get more Cole in the booth and less Ruben? I will say that I actually don't mind Ruben Amaro Jr. in the booth, but I will say Cole Hamels was great. Cole Hamels is fantastic in the booth. Just a real natural delivery. And I don't know if he's doing it intentionally, but Cole years ago had a bit of a higher pitched voice. He's given himself a little bit more bass nowadays. It's all smooth, man. It's all smooth. Jess Patrick, hello. Extras on Easter. Philly player of the game, Luzardo. Rojas, longest at bat was 5 pitches. Rojas has been producing, so I can't knock him too much. We need to see him work with the count a little bit better with 2 strikes. Yeah, but again, he's been a little hot. Noah Cook, we just lost because Bohm watched that ball. I did watch that, and my first inclination on that was why not make a play? Why not charge that ball? I didn't think it would have been that difficult to play. And then I did listen to Cole Hamels and Ruben Amaro Jr. on it in the booth, and they were both like, yeah, you don't make that play. I mean, it certainly was not going to go foul. So I don't know why he was playing it like that. I personally thought the play was there to be made. The 2 ex-baseball players said it's not a play you make. And I still don't know why. But they seem like you would have had to rush the throw. I didn't think you would have had to rush the throw. It's a good point, Noah. Thanks for bringing it up. I felt the play was there to be made, and they opted not to make that play for whatever reason. Can't forget Kerkering, though. Lost because of him. Yeah. Bullpen, Evelyn. Hey, Evelyn. Our bullpen sucks. Yes, it does. They are a good team, but we all know if they get to the playoffs, they will choke, never win anything with these players. Casey, I look, this team's going to the playoffs. That's where I'm at on them. I love this lineup, the way it's constructed now. You've seen more consistency. The Marlins team, as I mentioned, I think it was in the short I did in the post production Friday night. The Marlins came into this series with the seventh best hitting team, best hitting team in all of baseball. They're a good baseball team. Wheeler shut them down. That was great. Luzardo today shut them down. Bullpen, not so much. Brian killing it. Weber, hello. Terrible bullpen. Luis Dario, boo. I agree. Why does the GM forever get a pass? Who? Dave Dombrowski? Oh, he's not getting a pass. Oh, we've mentioned Whit Merrifield. We've mentioned Tanner Banks. We've mentioned the lack of bringing in better talent than that. Not good. Bam Man 100. The bullpen, obviously the biggest issue today, but if they didn't make two basic defensive botches, thank you, in the seventh inning, they would have won in regulation. Yep, wouldn't have needed the extras. Hoping Farsi has bunny ears on? No, not today. Morgan, my kids do though, however. So our bullpen sucks. I thought Orion Kerkering was going to be a closer. Some people said that. I wasn't on. I'm still with Jose Alvarado as the closer. Scared to think that good teams, what they could do against us this week, we have to travel to New York and Chicago. Yeah, going to be a long week. Evelyn, hope for that's funny. Okay, we're all agreeing. We're agreeing. Nola pitches tomorrow. We know that'll probably be lost. It's probably going to be not feeling good. Although, because I don't feel good, watch that be the win. Thank you, KC. Those Miami's no-name bullpen outperforms ours. Sad. Pretty much. KC, that's why I call Thomson Goober. He's a moron. One of the worst managers in baseball. Christopher Michael, my mental health can't handle this bullpen. Congratulations to the continuation of the NLDS, the bullpen. Not confident, says R. Seeker. Tomorrow we hope it's a different outcome. Anton, thank you, Marlins. Let's go Mets. Well, there's our first Let's Go Mets of the year. And I know we're only going to get a couple more of those. Well, hopefully we don't. Hopefully the Phillies sweep the Mets, right? That's not crazy. That's pretty crazy right now. Jonathan Harvey, hey, bud. Nice to see you. Bullpen is bull. Guys need to incorporate meditation of getting batters out. I'll start with that. Oh, Austin Hayes is lighting it up in Cincinnati. Is he really? Well, that'd be shocking to me. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. When it comes to this Phillies game, my number one takeaway from this one, obviously, is going to be the bullpen and the defense. I mean, I honestly, the bullpen for me was put in a bad spot by their manager. Anybody, let me know in the chat. I didn't see anybody answer the question. Would you have gone one more inning? Did it send your radar? Did it go on your radar at all when Orion Kerkering came out? Or excuse me, when Orion Kerkering pitched the eighth inning and not Jesus Luzardo? 88 pitches. I'm letting him rip. I'm letting him go out there for another start or another inning. That to me was a bad decision by Rob Thomson. And then that moved everybody up. And when he makes these types of mistakes, when you got your bullpen already weak, that just moves everybody up. So now I got to use Alvarado an inning early. Got to use Strom. Unfortunately, in the 10th inning, that was awful. That was awful to me. Oh, there was one thing with Bryce Harper, and I don't want to rip him offensively because he's been so, clutch for the Phillies recently, but I think it was his last at-bat of the game. It's worth noting. He got a pitch down and in. I believe it was a slider. Yeah. All right, so bottom of the 7th inning, 2 outs, Turner's on base after the infield single. Yeah. It's 4-2 in favor of the Phillies. The last 3 home runs that Bryce Harper has have all been down and in pitches, down and in sliders as well, if I'm not mistaken. He got a 3-2 slider down and in that he rolled over top of and grounded out to second. If he's able to do with that pitch that he's what he has been doing on those pitches, then maybe we're talking about a different thing. But obviously, you're asking a guy to hit a home run. It's a little easier to not take Jesus Luzardo out of a game. It's a little easier to not give up a 3-run home run. It's a little easier to ground a ball, unlike Stott and Harper, unfortunately, in that 7th inning. It's a little easier to do that than to hit a home run. So I won't look at that particular play, but just one that was on my radar in the game, and I marked it in my notes just because Harper had been crushing those pitches. And for the one pitch he doesn't crush, it ends up not being a bigger inning than what it could have been. Appreciate everybody in the chat. You guys are great. I will be back with you guys tomorrow. Thanks again for the well wishes for my little cousin's wedding. It was beautiful. Hope you guys are having a great Easter. For those that celebrate, enjoy the rest of your time with your family. I do have a short coming up after this that will be available on our Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. So I will be here tomorrow doing Locked On Phillies postcast. We also have our Locked On Eagles Eagle Squad podcast with myself, Jason Bertitas, and Harry Mays. And Connor Thomas has you covered for your Locked On Phillies daily podcast as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. Make sure you guys hit like and subscribe. And I'm hoping that my voice is back to normal come tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Be back with you guys. Happy Easter and Bona Pasqua as well. See you guys later. Bye.